Today on the farm, we got to start getting that peanut land ready. This particular field I've had in grass hay production for the last 4 years, and I was hoping I could come out here with a bottom plow and just bottom plow this grass in and everything work out just right. I could fall in here with a field cultivator and plant them peanuts, but we did some tests on the compaction of the ground out here, and much to the dismay of all the no-till enthusiasts, the red clay was harder than a brickbat. Even after 4 years of no tillage whatsoever, this field was hard as asphalt out here. And so we're having to cut it before I can bottom plow it. And I do believe we're going to end up having to subsoil it behind the hair because it's just so hard. You'll see that the hair is rolling off that top 4 or 5 inches of dirt pretty easy. But that's not really the issue I'm combating out here. The issue is down below that. There's what some people describe as a hard pan, and that hard pan doesn't go away with time. In fact, it grows bigger. A lot of the no-till enthusiasts will tell you that, you know, after 3 years of no-tillage, that hard pan doesn't exist anymore. After 4 years, that hard pan doesn't exist anymore. But I came out here with a subsoiler and dropped in a couple of these bottoms out here. I have several wet bottoms that hold water, and they weren't holding water as long as my neighbors were that are in conventional tillage. Mine were holding water for a shorter period of time out here with this grass, but they were holding water nonetheless. So I come out here with a subsoiler to subsoil those bottoms so they would drain. And what I found out is the ground was too hard for the subsoiler. So the way we found that out is when I tried to put the subsoiler in the ground, it immediately went to breaking shear bolts, and it even at one point had the front wheels of this 8530 up in the air with a full set of weights. Tractor was catwalking. So ground too hard. We had to hair it before we can subsoil it, before we can turn it with the bottom plow. And you have to turn your peanut land. If you don't turn your peanut land, you won't make peanuts. So this is the beginning of the peanut journey for the year. Here we go. I'm putting this field into peanut production because grass is one of the best, or bahia grass is one of the best rotational crops with peanuts. And it's not always feasible to rotate your peanuts with grass, but I've had hay out here. I've been selling hay for 3 or 4 years, and it's time to do something to make a little bit more money with this dry land field. We're gonna put some nuts out here. may have noticed in this video that in this particular field, there's a large transmission line which traverses this field from right to left. And because of that large transmission line, I have been approached by numerous firms, entities, and companies about putting a solar project, a solar farm out here on this field. Numerous entities have come to me with this request, and we've had meetings with some of them. Some of them I get requests in the mail, maybe one a month. Most of them I just throw away, but some of them call me up on the phone or talk to my dad or my uncle. They own land surrounding this land. They request meetings, and we go listen to what they got to say. But they're highly interested in this land, and I also serve on the Economic Development Authority for our local county. So I've been in some meetings with some other solar projects around here, and I've been in the meetings with the ones that would potentially be on this land. And from talking to what would be the prospective buyer of the electricity, the company that's going to buy the electricity of the finished product, and from talking to the companies who are going to purchase the completed solar field, and from talking to the companies what build these solar fields, all of them seem to agree on one thing. And that thing is that the solar field itself cannot pay for itself. It's not feasible. It cannot make enough electricity to pay for the construction of it unless the government subsidizes the solar field itself. If they subsidize they give a tax break, they give incentive to these corporations, these companies for putting them in. And so companies call me that want to get the project on paper, and then they sell the contracted project. They make a little bit of money. And then the company that they sell it to is going to own it for the life of the project. That company makes a little bit of money. The company that comes and builds the project makes a little bit of money. And then at the end, the local co-op or the local power company that buys electricity, they're going to make a little money. So all these people are going to make a little money on it. However, they all acknowledge that the solar field can't make enough power to be profitable unless the government subsidizes it. So my question is, once the government has subsidized hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland into solar fields, and we've created solar fields on all this agricultural land, once the government's done that, and what happens if they just miraculously decide, let's stop subsidizing them? One really interesting point also to take note of is they're not advocating for these solar fields to be in the desert. They're advocating for these solar fields only on viable farmland. They want it on viable, current use farmland. They don't want it in the desert. You can say, hey, you don't want it in the desert because they want them next to population centers. There's no population centers like, say, Tucson or Phoenix, Las Vegas, located in a desert. Instead, they want them out here on this farmland, which is nowhere near a population center. I'm 3 hours from the nearest city. I'm about 8 minutes from a large hydroelectric dam, so I'm not in a spot of high need. This isn't an area where it's hey, there's a large demand for electricity. There's a hydroelectric dam right here. I'm about 30 minutes from a nuclear plant, and there are multiple 800+ acre solar farms within 20 minutes of me. Yet I live in a very sparsely populated part of the country. So why are they trying to take all the farmland over here out of farm production and put it in solar fields? Just about done here on one of my last turnarounds, and when I was turning around, I noticed that the pine trees are starting to put out. When you see those pine trees starting to put out, that means them old slab crappie, or you may call them white perch, but around here we call them crappie. Them slab crappie are starting to move into the shallow water, and it's time to go crappie fishing. And when the dogwoods start blooming another couple of weeks, that means the crappie have made it all the way to the bank, and they're laying the eggs up there by the edge. So I'm gonna finish up here. Gonna get ready to go home, start getting them crappie lures and jigs ready, because it's crappie season, y'all. Pine trees are putting out. I thank all y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.